record on this. All right. So yeah, man. Taking it from the top, you were just saying that you can tell that the weather is changing in dark. You were saying that you
Mm,
really can tell that basically it's different than what it was like 2 years ago, or lab to
yeah.
even yeah. I was talking to some friends. I consider them friends, or associates. Um,
Mm,
and we met each other actually, like I said, on a Bagamoya trip 2 years ago
mm,
from Dar.
mm,
And he
mm.
was telling me how like it's crazy. He said even the animals are reacting different. He said like now like the ants like they come into the house a lot. I was like before I was like yeah they didn't really do that, but he was like it's like
I
animals.
wish I wish we did this in the afternoon. I would have given you the clear picture of those what you were saying about the ants. It's all over. Yeah.
Wow. So you seen it too?
Now, but the thing is, we are going to expect very big rains, in days to come. Very big rains. And you
Uh-huh.
see, these are the animals. The good thing is, animals they can predict the weather change earlier than the humans. You understand? For
Hmm.
you, whenever there's any climate change, for you to detect any climate change, some people get sick. You understand?
And I
Some
feel
of
it could be so.
mm, some of other people just they have headaches. Some have fevers.
Well,
Get
Evo.
Yeah, others even get malaria out of it. So that's I would have I'll send you a screenshot tomorrow and I'll show you. It's,
Okay.
it's a lot, yeah. Even we have a lot of snakes around here these days in Geza Ulole. I don't know where they come from.
So let's jump into the intro. That was just a little intro. It's
Mm.
Aaron, it's Albert. Don't go along just to get along. Been a while. Kazi Sana Niki Swahili, as you would say. So I'm back creating because I got some things coming up, and I just want to basically keep everybody in tune to some things that I have going on. But I thought when I was talking to, my friend over in Dar, and he was sharing some of those things, I was like, yeah, that's something good to mention. Then I can talk about some of my travel that's coming up. And also, man, a hot topic these days seems to be about these passport bros. So I want to
Mm.
get your thoughts. I don't know, you and I haven't even had a conversation about this, but I want to get your thoughts about like if you're familiar with the whole label of like passport bros. What do you think about it? Um, you know, Basically how do the women over in Tanzania look at passport bros? And I'll kind of give what I think about it. The little that I may know about. Just the what we call ideology or the meaning in terms of the presentation. But what's your thoughts? Do you know anything about that when people talk about that online and on YouTube and other social media platforms? Do you?
Sorry, sorry, I haven't got your question very well.
Okay. So,
Mm.
passport bros is basically, it seems like it's labeled more. You got to turn his phone on mute. It seems like it's labeled more for black men, and even more specifically for Black American men, even though that's been a trend that's been going on for as long as time can remember, that people have been traveling from different countries and going to, again, different countries to hook up with women. So that's what the whole passport bro thing is about. A lot of times when people see specifically Black American uh, men travel to different countries, they want to call them a passport bro, especially if they're making videos and hooking up with the women and things of that nature. Um,
mm.
I don't know if that's something that you know about, like how the women feel, because I'm curious. I know obviously you're a man, but you very well connected in terms of like how locals look at that. Like, do you all look at that like, yeah, man, in Bayasana, Lenny
But the
Wangini.
situation, okay, okay. For my understanding right now, because I have I recently made a passport for a lady, but the question, for us men, if we are looking for a passport, it's very easy for us to get.
Evo.
Yeah, it's very easy.
For
Right
men,
now,
or you talking about Tanzanians in general?
no, for Tanzanian men, it's
Really?
easy to get. Yeah, uh, I can even give you some evidence. I can even hook you up with the lady I just helped getting a passport recently. Women, unless otherwise you have a technical skill, you're going outside for a certain purpose. It's when they give you passport. But
Okay.
now women getting passports, it's a very difficult thing right now here. That's the
Why?
reality.
Wanini? Why would you say that? Tell me
But they're
more.
making
NIMB.
okay, they are making this assumption. For us men, when we go outside, maybe we leave a family in Tanzania, we go
Okay.
and hustle and look for more cash to feed the
Um,
family.
mm-hmm.
But for the women, it's very few of them who go outside
Mm-hmm.
to to hustle. You understand?
I
they
understand.
okay. They end up selling their bodies. You understand? That's what they usually do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, there's an increase of prostitutes in outside countries. That's why they're limiting them. You understand?
I
And
understand.
in the migration office, when you go if you go as a woman, if you have no any, if you only know English and you don't have any experience, they will have to put a question mark. What are you going to do there? If you're going within African countries, it's easy. They can give you a passport. But if you're going outside abroad, there's a question mark. What are you going to do there? You
Right.
understand? I have a sister uh, who is in. I have two sisters actually.
Okay.
Well, one is an ICT and one is an IT. They all
Uh-huh.
went there to get their master's degree outside, and they even got whatever residential permits there. They started working
Uh-huh.
there. So for those type of women, they can't allow to go there and work. Or if you have any experience like a drive or something, they have to first look at your background, your CV, and so on for so forth. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not like men. Men there are a lot of jobs there which men can do. You understand? Unless if I'm answering you correctly, I don't know if I'm answering you correctly.
Yes. Well, you took the conversation, so you see me looking to the side because you actually made me think about something. See, I have
Mm,
ideas at times, but then I just don't slow down enough to, talk
mm,
about it because I don't talk about everything that comes to my mind.
mm,
But you saying that just made me think about something that I was researching, I was looking at, and again, it just, made my heart like, just grow as it does. And like, man, for Africans, Rafikis and Kakas and Dadas, Pade, Tanzania, because you're right. They make the life so difficult. They make the life, I've been hanging around Tanzania too long.
mm.
they make life so difficult at
mm,
times with the travel for
mm,
local Africans. But
mm.
people from outside the country, Raizi Sana, they go ahead.
They actually recently I was supposed to go to last time I was supposed to come to US. Yeah, if you remember, we talked about it. I was just going to visit there and to study. But unfortunately, I was first going to visit, but then go back for studies. But unfortunately, they told me that uh, when they put some restrictions, they put restrictions for Africans to go there because most of them when they go like visitors, but they don't come back. He
Oh,
stay there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
When they go as like visitors. They okay, I can go like a visitor, but I will refuse coming back. You
Right,
understand?
right, right, right.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing. That's the reason they gave me that you
So,
might
okay,
feel.
well,
Mm,
regardless of whatever reason, because the world is the people's, you know what I'm saying? So
mm,
it ain't for anyone to tell us where we can and where we can't go. That's just like
mm,
natural law, like a birthright, as I would say.
mm,
So we know all these restrictions came from colonialism and things of that nature. But what I
mm,
was looking at is
mm,
actually this picture here. I'm gonna show it in a few moments. That's actually gonna show again, like there is no love for dark skinned people across the world to do anything. And like people sometimes say, "Oh, you're just complaining. You're just saying this. You're just saying that." But
mm,
guess what? It's real easy to prove. It's real easy to prove that that is the case. And no, I don't
mm,
want to do that for that. Yeah, this is what I want to do. It's real easy to prove that that's the case. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about when you can actually see the countries that have little to no restrictions to travel.
mm,
And
mm,
none of these countries that I'm about to show, none
mm.
of these countries are countries that have black people. Can you see this list that I'm showing you right now?
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
This Kichasana. I mean, look at this. Like, so this is what are the 40 visa waiver countries? Simply meaning countries that don't even need a visa. Let's go up a little more. So this is some guidelines, some things that I was just looking and familiarizing myself, researching a little bit. The visa waiver program allows citizens of 40 countries to travel to the United States for business or
Yes,
tourism
of
purposes
tourism purposes
without a
without
visa for up to
visas.
90 days.
Yes.
So, what we're about to look at, all these countries are people who don't have to have a visa to come to the United States. You don't see not one single African country on that list, man.
But let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
When you're traveling to, let's say, United States, I'm a Tanzanian, I'm going to United States. What they first ask you,
I know, man, but I
what do you
know, and
have?
for the video purpose, I'm gonna let you speak your point, but I totally disagree with that. That has nothing to do with nothing. Damn it, I can go whatever the hell I want to. Let me figure it out. Let me figure out how I'm gonna make it. Go ahead. I know what you was gonna say.
I'm just going to my point. Eh?
Okay, okay, okay.
When you're traveling to another country, they tell you that how much do you have in your bank account? You
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that these other countries they don't even care if you are rich or poor. You just have to go. You have no visa. You have to go. You see my point, eh?
Mm-hmm.
You see, but for us Africans, you have to have money in order to go to United States. If you don't have like 30 millies in your bank account, you don't you are not going to you're not going what are you going to do there? You understand, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So So for me, what I can say that even South Africa is not in this list, right?
Exactly. But listen, this is what's
Yeah.
important too. Not
Yeah.
only, that's why I say they don't have no love for black people all across the world. Because
Mm.
not only is South Carolina, where the hell did that come from? Not only is let me put it back on us so I can share it while we talk so people can still see us. So
Mm.
let's stop sharing that. Not only is any 55 other African countries on that list, but you don't have any black countries or continents that's on this list. You don't have South America. You don't have Brazil. You don't have India. Because, hey, man, India, I've been doing some research. Like, there's a lot of similarities in terms of how they treat Indians. I know in the east of Africa, y'all see Indians one particular way because of those are the ones that, pretty much have a lot of nasty attitude for the most part, and they come and
But now for the Indians, do you know, like Indians, they contribute the number of they have some quite percentage of revenue they contribute to the country. Like take an
okay,
example of Uganda.
mm-hmm.
Indians contribute to 60% of their income, their
sixty
revenues.
percent.
Yeah, by just doing trading with that country. You understand? If you see it was 2018 when that prime minister who went to Uganda. I think he visited Uganda, but actually, it's that they contribute much hmm, in countries' revenues. If we see it clearly by their trade, Indians are the ones buying gold. If you see if you find out clearly that they are the ones who purchase a lot of gold,
Mm-hmm.
Tanzanite. You understand?
Yeah.
They purchase a lot of things. They purchase a lot of things. So they increase that revenue, country's revenue, by doing their trade. A lot
Uh-huh.
of things they get them from Africa. They trade. I don't know what percentage they contribute in Tanzania, but I'm very sure because here we don't have a lot of Indians. We only have we have a lot of Arabs here. Eh? But they contribute to certain amount of revenue in a
So
country.
listen, I get that. I get that.
Mm,
But I don't give a fuck about that. And I ain't saying that, of
mm,
course, to you. I'm saying that because of how I feel. That ain't no ill emotions towards you. I'm just speaking
mm,
from my heart. I don't give a fuck about
mm,
that. This is why. It's
mm,
because again, man, see, we can't get tangled up into their little system that they've woven to try to give
mm,
excuses of why
mm,
they will restrict us. Because this is what you have to remember. Una Kumbuka,
mm,
Kwanzaa, lending
mm,
Safiri to different
mm,
parts of the world, they didn't
mm,
have no money. They didn't have all
mm,
these restrictions. So in essence,
mm,
what they've done is that they've gone over through all out the world. They've set up their quote unquote empires or their structure to imprison
mm,
the people. And then why they didn't have any restrictions, any
mm,
basically restraints of how they want to do business and set up stuff, they went, set up everything, and now they turn around. They don't say, hey, come, you can do it too. No, they say, now
no, they
you have,
can't. It
you
was,
feel me now?
I know, I understand you very well. No one
Yeah,
is going
so
to.
so that's my thing is like I don't care about all that other stupid stuff, man, because not calling your point stupid. I know you just speaking facts. I'm saying I don't care about those things that they
Mm,
continue to hold in our face like a carrot. You know,
mm,
I care about the things that matter in terms of fair, and that's my point of even showing again this picture here. That's my entire point, Albert, in sharing this picture is the fact that these countries have been provided the opportunity to live life on easy street, right? Easy me bara bara. You know, they've been given the opportunity to make things even easier for them. Think about it. Knowing that the African life is so difficult, it can be so challenging, and we want to get to a place where things are a lot easier economically for us, then if it was about fairness, if it was about equality, then why don't you put these countries on the list so you can make it easier for them to get there and start doing things? So they'll say something to you like, oh man, you know what? Well, we got to see how you going to make it. Let me tell you the truth. Let me give you some real truth, some real. If it was about really seeing if they could make it and if they could be successful, you will open the doors and say, welcome, Kyrie Busana, Kwasa Babu, Lenny, Wayo Afika, Kufika. Life would be easy. Why do I say that? Because if you can hustle in Tanzania, I'm going to say this one time. If you can hustle in Tanzania, I'm going to say this 3 times. If you can hustle in Tanzania, you can make it in America. Facts.
Exactly.
Facts. I'm telling you, I ain't saying this just to get attention. Man, you got people here, you got restaurants that they can't even do business. You know why, Albert? Because they can't find people to work. You in Africa, in Tanzania, you got people who go and search for jobs every day. Their job is searching for a job every day. In the meantime, I can go in restaurants and can't even get good service because they can't find enough people to help. You got restaurants and businesses closing down because they ain't got enough people to work. So it ain't about that, bro. All this is about is them keeping their foot on the people's neck. That's all it's about, is them keeping their foot on our neck.
You just reminded me something. You know that we don't need a visa right now. Any Tanzania doesn't need a visa to go to China. So we are going to China. Yeah. It's not all about US. We can look at other countries too, where we can even go without visas, like China. China just announced that you don't need a visa to go to China if you have a passport, a East African passport, an electronic passport.
Yeah.
If you have an electronic passport, you can easily go to China.
Yeah.
For any purpose you want, visiting, business, education. Yeah.
Well, and you know, because China have mended the relationships, and China, you know what? That's very interesting, because at one point I wouldn't eat no Chinese food at none of their restaurants, because I was like,
neither do I. So do I.
I was, because here in America, you never see them employ Black people. You never see them really take care of Black people. And I don't even want to say take care, because that sounds like you begging for something, but they look out for themselves. And listen, one thing that I've learned over time is nothing wrong with looking out for yourself. When I read Malcolm X's autobiography, it opened my eyes to do a lot of research in a lot of different areas that basically say, look, a lot of these countries and groups, they endured a lot of the same things that especially Black Americans endured. So meaning that they went through and they were oppressed by the Britons and the Europes and the United States specifically, just like Black people. But what they did is that they found a way to unite within themselves and come up out of it. And so I don't have that same energy towards them like that, because I see what they did. Maybe he'll be able to join us back in a few seconds, because I see what they did. But one thing I will say, as far as China is concerned, is that China has mended enough of a relationship definitely in East Africa, but really all over Africa. I mean, China is strong in Africa in terms of the infrastructure, contracts, mining. I mean, you name it. So it makes sense, but they definitely are not like just giving opportunities away. It ain't about that. Don't get it twisted. You still got to feed yourself. Ain't nothing for free, as they say. China, they're just not like, okay, we're going to basically make it easier for you. Now, China is doing what they're doing because they have the end in mind. And we got to kind of
Aaron,
watch China and see what they are really looking at in terms of world domination in that respect.
Aaron,
Yeah,
Aaron.
I can hear you. I'll just wait for you to come off mute. I was still talking. So basically what I was saying is that China has, from mining, from
Can I? Can you give me like?
infrastructure. Go
Can you
ahead.
give me? Sorry. Can you give me like 2 minutes so I just look for a better network? Eh?
Yeah, Hamnashita, man,
Two.
Hakuna Haraka.
Okay. Just give me like 2 minutes. Just keep on talking. Just like two
Indio, Indio,
minutes.
Nina Sabiri Kwaway.
Yeah.
All
Just
right.
let's. Mm.
So yeah, but the beauty of it all is that we definitely, it always come back to what we're going to do for ourselves. But this is about identifying, who your enemy is, in the sense of you have to know basically who's for you, what they're putting in place in terms of keeping you from advancing. I mean, look at some of these countries. Taiwan, like these countries are not all rich and wealthy and just got money falling out their pockets here, on this list in terms of what are the 40 visa waiver countries. These are people that they don't care about being there because they don't look at them as no quote
Mm.
unquote threat in any shape, form, or fashion. So when Albert get back on, we're gonna talk a little about this passport bro stuff too, because I know we kind of got off that subject because he said a couple things that made me think. Um, and then if he has, some more comments about the passport bro narrative, we will have that conversation. But if not, we'll get into some other things. Me personally, to give my opinion on the passport bros, so when it comes to the quote unquote, let me well, I'll leave it like this. I was gonna magnify the screen. When it comes to me and the passport bro per se, uh I don't I really don't give it a lot of energy. So I have to say to a great degree, um one thing I have thought about first and foremost, the white man. That ain't no just like racial, just undertone statement of like hate or nothing like that. I'm just speaking facts. The Caucasian is the first passport bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and this reminds me of another thing. Black people, what we got to do, we got to know history, because what history do tell us, things generally seem to be peaches and cream until we get our hands on it. And what do I mean by that? In essence, everything is love, everything is good. It's like, man, this is what you do, man. This is another alternative to life. This is just how you just live your best life. It's all good to the good until a brother do it. Like that song say, it was cool. It was cool when you did it, but it's a problem when I do it. And that's exactly how the world project the things onto us that they don't want us to no longer be a part of. The Caucasian was the first passport bro. And I ain't outside of trying to kidnap and enslave people and rape and pillage, which that has a lot to do with it. Hell, they ain't even utilize a passport then. We know they were summoned and sent off by the Queen of England, and how those things took place back then. And that's how they proceeded to try to conquer and sow their wild oats per se. But they were the first passport bro. And then you obviously got certain demographics, generally people who had a lot more money to basically maneuver and, just kind of enjoy themselves, be a world traveler and things of that nature, which I consider myself. I consider myself a world navigator, not a passport bro. But I say those things to simply say is that they was living life, whether they was giving people diseases or whether they was just impregnate women or whether they was building a whole nother life with a whole nother family in another part of the world, in addition to the place that they're from, the country of their citizenship. They didn't get the type of hate that when black people start doing it, then it's like, oh, it's a problem. Y'all fucking up the world. Y'all making things bad for everybody. Oh, y'all just doing this because y'all can't get along with the women here. You can't do this. You can't do that. You need to look at yourself and you need to improve yourself. It's all kind of excuses when the brother do it. And if you think about it, especially in America, I can't speak to Africa. Maybe Albert can speak to Tanzania and Uganda. He's kind of versed on that. I think he knows some things about Kenya as well. But I can speak from America. Whenever black people start doing stuff, that's when it's like, oh no, it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. And a matter of fact, that's that's a great segue. Or I can give you an example. Me and a gentleman named Mark Meets Africa. He and I've done a lot of videos. We spent some time together when I was back in TZ. And I remember we had this conversation and where he told me that they were going to, anybody who follows Mark Meets Africa, shout out to Mark. Anybody who follows him, they know that he's very tied to basically working with the government in a hands-on approach to help people get acclimated to the life in Tanzania, as opposed to, basically crashing out, as they say, from a standpoint of running out of money, running out of resources, and in a lot of ways, even having their embassies and country of their residence and citizenship pay for them to get back in some cases. So he's helped set up some infrastructure to basically make life easier. I say those things to say one thing that was brought to the attention is what a lot of so-called, or I don't want to say so-called, but what a lot of supposedly black people were doing, specifically African American. Again, we get blamed for everything. Now, don't get it twisted. It's common sense to know this stuff had been going on. It's common sense to know that people have always been circumventing the system, finding ways to go about maybe some of the visa requirements and things of that nature. But he actually made the statement that Tanzania was considering basically if it continued to progress and it got bad enough, they were already talking about, and this is last year, well over a year, they were already talking about that they are looking to potentially ban African Americans from coming to Tanzania. I say that one more time. They were looking to potentially ban African Americans from coming to Tanzania. And he told me that because he said they won't follow the rules in terms of some of the requirements. Now, he even admitted to there are other people groups and sects that do the same things, SECT sects. There are different people groups of sects that do the same thing. But he was big on saying, but they have representation. They have people that advocate for themselves and things of that nature. A lot of the people, because we're not unified, we're just out there solo. I'm not saying that he's misspeaking on any of the things that he's saying in that respect, because he's stating the truth, and I don't see Mark as being a liar. I've never seen him as being a liar. But my issue again is it's good when they do it. It's a problem when we do it, and so it's just that just sets some fire under me, just in consistently saying that yes, it's not just on the quote unquote home turf in America. This is across the board. This is a brother that I spoke to, that same brother, him and his family, they got their business over in TZ and things of that nature. And in short, he said racism and colonization is a global agenda. And I'm paraphrasing because the way he said it was eloquent, but he kind of basically jumped off our conversation by saying that, which inspired me to even make a video today and not continue procrastinating. So, I'm just touching on some things. Hopefully we can get Albert back on. But hey, it's something that irks me, sincerely, if you will, in terms of how, if it was all about love, they would make it easier for Africans to travel. If you know that when the first time, as on record, I went to Tanzania, it was basically the number 15 poorest country in the world. So if you know, if this is supposedly the number 15 poorest country in the world, then why in the hell do it cost more to get a passport and travel as a Tanzanian than it does to travel as an American to like Britain? Now, for a long time, you didn't even have to have a visa to travel to Britain as an American. But now they're implementing some more rules, which again, this is all about track and trace. That's why, again, the point he was making about, hey, well, you got to be able to support yourself. Man, look, that's all bullshit. They ain't feeding me none of that bullshit. The fact of the matter is, they simply want to know your whereabouts and stamp every move you make. And that's all that's about. And so, hey, the longer you live, the more freedoms that we have, quote unquote, lost over time because of this world global domination that these thugs got in mind. I'm not going to call them anything short than thugs. So right now I'm looking for another link, and I think I just found it. Nope, that's not it. But it's actually this one, I think. And this is actually a YouTube video, so I'm gonna have to kind of mute this. Okay. I'm actually going to play this video. That's Albert. He's right on time. What's up, man? You had to join a new data thing. You had to put some more data on your plan.
I was just changing my phone, eh?
Oh, you changed your phone. Okay.
This
I know how I get with that data. That's one thing I don't miss, which is
this one is
actually
this
Missouri
one is
Sana.
off. This
Now,
one is
Don and
off.
Simu Yako. Man, that's another thing I don't miss, which is crazy. It sucks. Is the internet is more expensive over there than it is over here.
If you're used to American internet, you have internet everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, different. If it's off, it's off.
So listen, real quick. What I want to jump into, Albert, is I actually want to show this video of I was talking. I don't know if you could. I know you could hear some stuff, but then I know you had to kind of chime out for a little bit. But I'm gonna show this video because, again, like I said, if it was all about like, well, we just want to make sure the people are okay and they don't go somewhere to a foreign land and get stranded, then they would make it easier. I ain't saying you got to give nobody no money. I ain't saying you have to step in as a government and make sure that they're financially okay. Just let them do them, If they say, damn it, I want to go, first of all, we shouldn't be asking people to go anywhere, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to go there. This is my point. So at one point, Americans could leave America and go to Britain, and they didn't have to have no visa, nothing. I mean, it was all they had to do was buy a plane ticket and go, right? Well, here as of recently, they are actually starting to make some restrictions where you have to apply for a visa as American to go to Britain. Again, like I said, it has nothing to do with, hey, you got to have money to support yourself. It has everything to do with control. They want to know every move you're making, and they want to be able to stamp and record every move. So this is why I'm also going to say how crazy it is, because you tell me the price. I think I know the price, but you tell me the price of how much it costs to get a Tanzanian passport. You can say it in shillings or dollars. I know how to convert it.
Okay, so to get a Tanzanian passport, right now it's 150,000. So approximately like $60 to $70.
Yeah,
Say $75. Yeah.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: What if you get an East African passport? Shangape.
It's the same.
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah,
Ain't no way I just get a Tanzanian passport. I get an East
because
African passport.
because what Magufuli did,
Oh wow! Come back to
he
Magufuli,
banished.
the great Magufuli, Mwili Mubaba.
What Mr. Magufuli did, he banished the passports, the other passports which we used to have. So if someone had an old passport, he had to renew it to an East African passport, an electronic passport. Yeah, East African electronic passport.
But let me ask you this, and it's okay if you haven't checked it in a while. What about the price right now? You know, Sasa, unajua begani kwa pasporte Sasa hivi.
Okay, let me give you the harsh reality right now. What's going on?
Okay.
So when you go to the migration office, I'm like right now. If I want to inquire a passport from migration, you'll find people telling you 300, 400, 500, 200, but the actual price of passport it's 150.
Okay.
You get me? Because
Anakuelewa.
people are trying to make ends meet right now since Magufuli passed away. We know the actual price of. For me, I got my passport from those days of Magufuli. You
I get
understand?
it. Maybe
I only
to
got it.
rush it and to get it fast, haraka.
Araka Araka,
Ah,
because
so
they have to they if you're in a rush like this, maybe someone has got a deal, he wants to rush to that deal, eh? So he wants a passport quick time, so they'll tell someone, the migration officer will tell you that, "Ah, man, you give me 300,000." But in actual sense, you have to pay 150 and wait for 2 months to get your passport. They
okay.
have to do that.
And that's generally how it is over here. It takes a while. So that makes sense. But even with that, like I was just sharing, and obviously, you know, I want Africa and the people that are, you know, honest and pure people and good heart.
Mm.
I want them to be as successful as the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first went there in 2021,
Mm.
they said that Tanzania was the 15th poorest country in the world.
Mm.
I don't know what it is now, but this is the only reason why I say that.
Mm.
So where's the fairness? Why is it that it costs $70 for a passport as a Tanzanian, but it costs about $120 for a passport as an American?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And that's the next thing I was going to do. I want to play this video real quick. We might have to have a part two, but I'm going to play this video because, again, I want to show that. Oh, snap. Okay, I'm glad I put share sound. Let me show this.
Enterprises use BigQuery to uncover new insights from their data, like cost saving.
If you're thinking about traveling to Europe next year, you will need permission first from your whatever country is going to be, one that you choose to visit.
Yeah, that's right. Most countries in the European Union will soon require a visa to visit. Bob Barnard is live at Dulles International Airport this morning to tell us what this change is all about. And Bob, making this change is fairly easy, but it's one.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can.
Okay, cool. Because this monitor, I ain't using my other monitor. I'll continue.
You do, in fact, need to make.
Yeah, it's just adding more logistics to your travel plans. And if you get anxious traveling, especially internationally, waiting for passports sometimes to the last minute, this is just one extra thing you're going to have to do. Take a look behind me. This is a busy place this morning here at Dulles Airport. And if you're traveling to, I think it's 186 countries, Europe, the Caribbean, Central and South America, you don't need a visa. You do if you're traveling to, say, Turkey, India, Vietnam, Russia, or China. But now, starting next year, the European Union is going to require those of us who live here in the country, who are U.S. citizens, to get a visa first, permission first, to travel to some 30 countries in Europe. Whether you're a tourist, student, or going there to work, you will apply online. They say it's going to be fairly quick. It's a system they call ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System. This change is news to many people we've been talking to here at Dulles this morning.
So it's just an added complication, you're saying, when you travel?
To these European countries, yes.
Yeah, well, hopefully it won't be too, it'll be smooth, it won't be too hard.
Apparently it's going to be an easy process. You do it online, it costs $8, and you get approval almost immediately.
Okay, sounds good. We like to travel.
Did you hear that? I'm going to continue it. It costs how much?
8.
Did you hear how much they said it cost for that passport, that visa?
Yes. It's $8, I think.
It's fucking dollars. $8.
It's like it's like 10K here, Tanzanian shilling.
Quelly. Now that's Sheeta Ghani. Think about that. So that's why I say this video. I said, oh, when I talk about this, I gotta have this conversation. Bro, we're talking about $8 for an American to go to Britain and to file a visa. I just purchased a visa for a trip that I got coming up soon. And guess what? It's going to an African country. It's $100 and something. I have but for a Tanzanian going to another country, how much do y'all visas cost? Man, I'm telling you,
It's expensive.
This ain't got nothing to do with fairness, man. This has everything to do with that.
But now, let me ask you a question. Sorry for interrupting. Let me ask, why are they imposing visas right now for Americans, even white people, to visit European countries?
Because it's all about control. They want to be able to trace and mark every move you make. That's all this is about. I'm gonna let this play.
Makes sense, I suppose. It's a pain in the butt having to travel. I've traveled to both Moscow and China, and getting the visa process is just a hairy process. So it kind of scares me that you're telling me now to even go to. It'll lose a lot of its flexibility and ease. So Europe will move a little bit further down the list in terms of places that I'll probably visit in the future. So.
Because of that.
Because of that, exactly right. Because that you need weeks, not days, not months, sometimes months to get a necessary visa. So unless it's something that's transparent, something that's simple, then I can see where it could be a real drain on the system.
Apparently it's going to be easy online, and you can get it within minutes.
That's what they say. It is until it isn't. Yeah, exactly.
It is until it isn't.
You're going to be required a visa to travel to most European countries starting next year. You do apply online. They say you'll get approval within minutes. The fee is $8. Kids 18 and under, 70 and older are free. Seniors are free. Good for 90 days through any 6-month period, and it is valid for 3 years. The visa to these European countries, all we're told, done for safety and security reasons for those countries.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. And just a heads up, don't wait until the last minute, because if there is a red flag and you do have to do any interview, it could be 30 days before.
So again, I'm gonna stop sharing. But again, anyone who knows anything just about how government systems work, anytime they say they doing something to protect you, they doing it because they ain't trying to protect you, So that's a bunch of bullshit too. But man, that is the whole purpose of why I even wanted to share this video. Like, you charge Tanzanians who at one point, when I initially visited, according to the world statistics and recording, stats, was the 15th poorest country in the world. Now, how much do they charge a Tanzanian for a visa?
It's really expensive, for sure.
Okay, but you gonna charge.
It depends on the country. It depends on the country.
But you're going to charge an American to go to Britain $8? That's an injustice, man. It ain't about helping. It's not about, it's about some oppressing of people. And that people is everybody that look like you and I. And Indians can fit in our complexion tone too, because they damn sure enough look a lot like us in terms of how dark they are a lot of times. So that's all it's about, man. It's some bullshit.
So a quick question. I've been following up on your politics, American politics, about most especially Donald Trump.
Oh, Trump.
So
This is one of my clients.
So the white people are also making this. They are making assumptions that when he's elected when he's elected as a president next election, he will remove United States from NATO.
He's gonna remove him from what?
NATO.
Oh, NATO.
Yeah, NATO.
Man,
yeah.
as I told you before, and I'm the type, I don't try to claim to be something that I'm not. Man, I'm not really I'm not in tune to what they call current events like that. Man, look, I smile when somebody say Donald Trump because the dude is hilarious to me. I mean, like, I don't give a damn what nobody say. Niggas can be mad all they want to. I don't give a fuck. Hey, that nigga funny to me, man. That's a funny nigga right there. So he is funny. He is super funny.
Worldwide, he's funny worldwide. He's the first American, he's the first American president who I caught interest in because he's funny. Yeah.
See,
he's very funny. And he doesn't like war, actually. That's the thing. That guy, he's funny and he doesn't like war. Apart from the other stuff of the KKK, or I don't know if it's
But see, this is the thing. Like, man, this is the thing in short. All of them are part of the same bloodline, the same family. A lot of people don't even know Obama share the same blood as Trump, Bush, Reagan. All of them are from the same bloodline. And every American president in the history of the United States have since 1776, I want to say, every American president has the same bloodline. They all are from that same bloodline, some shape, form, or fashion. So, like, my thing is, if you're going to like amuse us, if you will, in essence, if you're gonna do all this stuff that they do to us, then I might as well have fun at it, because
exactly, yeah,
they gonna do the same thing that they want to do anyway. So I might as well have fun with it, and that's my thing. What I do want to do is we having a good conversation. I actually want to kind of wrap this up, and I want to, if you up for it, maybe we can do another short, like 20-minute or 30-minute video. But I'm gonna end this one, and we can continue another one. Is that okay with you? All right, so